Marketing in 2025 is wild. Savvy customers spot fake messaging instantly, privacy changes make ad targeting a nightmare, and everyone needs more content than ever. That's why you have to check out HubSpot's new marketing trends report. It doesn't just show you what's changing, it shows you exactly how to deal with it. Everything's backed by research, but focused on marketing plays you can use tomorrow. You ready to turn marketing hurdles into results? Go to clickhubspot.com/marketing to download it for free. Good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, March 27th. I'm John Weigell here with Juliet, Bennett, and this is the Hustle Daily Show. Vrbo really did it this week. The short-term rental company placed a billboard directly outside the San Francisco office of its biggest competitor, Airbnb. So what did the billboard say? Was it a smart idea? And what is Vrbo's financial situation compared to that of Airbnb? We'll chat about that in a bit, but first let's give the hits and headlines in business and tech. To start us off today, a blast from the past. Gamestop is going to shutter a significant number of store locations in the coming months after closing 1,000 stores globally in the last year, bringing its global location count to 302,003 as of February 1st, which is down from its peak of 6,000 stores 10 years ago. However, the company also announced that it will invest a portion of its $4.8 billion in cash in crypto, sending its stock soaring 17% in pre-market trading on Wednesday morning. Gotta watch that GameStop stock. Next, 2025 is off to a tough start for movie theaters. Movies have generated $1.3 billion in the US and Canada so far, which is down 7% from last year. March in particular is estimated to be an absolute flop month with a 50% year-over-year decrease. This probably has a lot to do with movie theater workers being on strike in some areas, at least speaking from New York City's purposes. I know the Alamo Drafthouse near me is on strike. And from there, if you ever wanted to jump on Shark Tank, now could be your chance. Billionaire Mark Cuban is partnering with Masterclass On Call to announce a $10 a month AI chatbot, of his, that will answer your business questions and give you advice. So you can't really talk to Mark Cuban unless you get on the show, but you could talk to his AI clone, I guess. And finally, Dollar Tree is selling off the Family Dollar for $1 billion after acquiring the chain for over $8 billion in a bidding war with Dollar General in 2015. I said dollar a lot there, but Family Dollar and Dollar Tree are no longer one, unfortunately. So, if you're listening to this podcast, you are more than likely thinking about business ideas. Every entrepreneur has a million ideas vying for attention in their brain, and there's probably that one idea you can't stop thinking about. You know, the one that came to you at 2 a.m. that you got up and wrote down somewhere. Well, I'm here to tell you that that idea could be worth $5,000 right now. The Hustle and Indie Hackers are teaming up to find the next great founder and get them started with $5,000. All you got to do is record a 60-second video pitch telling us your business idea, how it makes money, and why it's awesome. One winner gets $5,000 cash plus promotion to millions of Hustle readers. Make sure you enter by April 4th at thehustle.co/bigbreak. That's thehustle.co/bigbreak. You can also click the link in the show notes of this episode. The winner will be announced on April 11th right here on the Hustle Daily Show, the Hustle newsletter, and on the Hustle's social accounts. Now get to pitching. On to the main story today. Okay, so there is a huge Vrbo billboard sitting right in front of the Airbnb office in San Francisco. Juliet, can you tell me what this billboard says?
Yes, it says, think of us as Airbnb's hotter, cooler, friendlier, long-lost twin that never has hosts.
Okay. Interesting. So this is obviously a bit of a jab at Airbnb. We've seen this before in other marketing tactics, right? The Pepsi versus Coke scenario. You know, we've seen this a ton. Competitors are everywhere. It's a competitive market. People want to take jabs. How did Airbnb receive this information?
So CEO Brian Chesky posted a photo of the ad with a laughing emoji to social media. So, you know, seemingly in stride. Hard to say if this was like, haha, I think this is funny, or haha, this ad is stupid. And then Airbnb itself provided a statement to Business Insider saying that Vrbo had spent millions of dollars on ads that are as confused as they are desperate.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. So it seems like maybe the CEO of Airbnb is taking it in stride, but it looks like Vrbo isn't exactly having a lot of business from these ads either. Can we see any statistics on how they're doing compared to an Airbnb?
So I think in terms of this particular ad campaign, it's a little too early to tell. But
Sure.
Vrbo has been taking pot shots at Airbnb for a long time. This is not the first ad campaign that has referenced them, even indirectly. But Airbnb is still the king when it comes to short-term rental market share. They have 44% of it per the last estimate in 2024. And Vrbo has only 9%. So Vrbo's the underdog here, definitely. And I don't think its ad campaign's been working thus far in terms of, can it overtake Airbnb?
Right. Because it seems to be way far behind there. But I guess these two services, they offer similar things, but they're a bit different. What are their kind of core differences, you'd say?
So the big difference, I think, with Vrbo is that Vrbo tends to focus on the whole house.
Yes.
One of its other billboards in New York City makes a little more sense than the one it put right outside of Airbnb's headquarters in San Francisco. That billboard says, want a family-friendly villa that you can't find on Airbnb. Which, okay, yes, Vrbo's whole thing, and you may remember this from other TV ads where they weren't talking about Airbnb at all, would often depict like a family or a group of friends getting together in a whole house.
Right.
And it would often be, this sort of luxury house with a great kitchen and a pool and nature. Although it has changed, in the very beginning, Airbnb was all about like, I'm renting a room in someone else's house.
Right.
And there's going to be a host there that lives in that house. And, they're sharing their space with me. And maybe they'll tell me about the city that they live in. I'm exploring the city like a local. It's cheaper than if I stayed in a hotel, like a completely different vibe.
Right. And that was definitely the mission when Airbnb launched all those years ago. But right now, to your point, it's kind of become a lot more than that. And it's not exactly less expensive than a hotel in a lot of cases. And you can still find those like a room in somebody's house type of deal. But a lot of people use it more as a hotel site now, or like a short-term rental site of sorts.
For sure. Yes.
So Vrbo does the whole homes. But what do you think their ad campaigns tell you about what they're feeling in terms of their competition against Airbnb?
I think the thing that is so interesting about this ad is that comparative ads, which is what these kind of ads are called, they often do work. You mentioned the Coke Pepsi battle. We've seen a lot of sort of cheeky, I'm taking a shot at my rival. Apple gets it from Samsung all the time.
Oh, yeah.
A few other examples.
The Mac, the PC.
Yep. I found a weird commercial where Jaguar released an ad in which a Jaguar is hunting a chicken, which is in response to Mercedes releasing an ad that uses chicken to demonstrate the capabilities of its magic body control suppression system, where Jaguar is like, okay, well, my Jaguar just ate your chicken. So
love that.
Popeyes has taken shots at its rival Chick-fil-A because Popeyes came out with a chicken sandwich. And then it was like, oh, who's a better chicken sandwich?
Right.
And Popeyes like made fun of Chick-fil-A for notoriously being closed on Sundays. So there are times when this works. It can draw attention. It can be funny. I think the problem with this Vrbo ad is it doesn't make a lot of sense unless you are intimately familiar with Vrbo's business model.
Right.
Because I read it and I know that Vrbo does the whole house thing because of previous ads, like I said, where there's like a family checking into like a house with a pool or whatever. But I've never stayed in a Vrbo. And that's just typically because if I stay in a major city, I want to stay in a hotel that has like stuff I can walk to.
Resources? Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to stay in the middle of the woods. And I haven't been on a trip like that in a long time where I would want the whole house. So I'm only a little bit familiar with Vrbo, but I read the billboard and I was like, wait, you're telling me you don't have hosts? Like no one is listing anything on your site? Like you need people with...
That language didn't make sense. Maybe it should have been like on-site hosts or something.
Yeah, because Vrbo later released a statement and they said, this is meant to poke fun at the common frustrations that travelers have. The awkward encounter with the host in the shared space. And it's like, you could have made an ad where it's like, okay, maybe you're getting up to go to the bathroom in the middle of the night and you like run into the host and it's like, oh, awkward. Like, no, you go. Like, but how often does that really happen? Because I don't think that's a common frustration for Airbnb. That's something that an advertising expert, Ashley Rustine, also pointed out when talking to Business Insider. In my experience with Airbnbs, it's like some apartment that should probably be on the rental market and it's not.
Yeah.
I think once in the history of me using Airbnb, the dozen or so times I've used it, I've been in someone's room in their house. Every other time, it's an apartment or it is a whole house.
Yeah, right.
What's annoying to me is that it's really expensive compared to a hotel. And then on top of that, I have to do the dishes and take out the trash.
Yes.
That's what people complain about. They don't complain that they're running into these hosts. It's easy to find a place that you let yourself in with a keypad and you never see the person that owns it.
Oh, very easy. Yeah.
So that's what, she was pointing out is like, there's a lot of stuff people don't like about Airbnb. This is not necessarily one of them. If you want a no-host situation, you can certainly find that.
Yeah, you got to pick from the myriad of things that people hate about Airbnb.
Right.
Yeah, this one doesn't feel like a very, very strong argument.
Yeah.
If like a Vrbo was easier to access and, didn't charge cleaning fees or something, or was like a little bit cheaper or whatnot, I'm sure people would be up for that. But in this case, it doesn't seem like it's quite effective. As you said earlier, that they're spending millions of dollars on this campaign and similar things like that. It seems like it's falling a bit flat.
Yeah, I think I just don't like any of the wording in this ad whatsoever. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't really tell me, a person who doesn't know a lot about Vrbo, what Vrbo offers that Airbnb doesn't. And this cooler, hotter thing, I'm just like, I don't know. That sounds like Mean Girls shit that I don't like.
Right. Why is this company hotter? I don't understand that either.
Yeah, like what's sexier about it?
What is so attractive about this company? I don't know. But there you go. It's not, I think, that effective of a campaign as a lot of people think out there. But it is kind of funny, though, that they got the billboard right across from Airbnb. I thought that's quite hilarious.
Right. 10 out of 10 for pettiness.
Oh, yeah.
And location. But
oh, absolutely.
Now, there is an ad that Business Insider linked to, and I have also linked to it in our newsletter because it is pretty funny. It's a Hilton ad, and it's a family checking into a haunted Victorian mansion. And they like look in the app and they're like, oh, it looked a lot different from the picture. And then they go in and it's like, there's all these weird rules. And it's like really scary. I think that's cute. I think that's clever. That's like, okay, yes. What's the difference between a Hilton and a vacation rental? Hilton, you know what you're getting. You've got the amenities. They're clear. You're not making your own bed. Vacation rentals, sometimes it's a crapshoot. It looks one way in pictures. You get there and you're like, oh boy.
For sure.
That to me is an effective comparative ad. But Vrbo, not so much, though I would be curious to know what other people think.
Yeah, agreed. All right, and that's going to do it for us today. Thanks for tuning into the Hustle Daily Show. We're a proud part of HubSpot Media. Our editor is Robert Hartwig. Our executive producer is Darren Clark. We've got a ton more tech and business coverage in our newsletter. If you're not subscribed, go sign up at thehustle.co/email and follow us on Instagram at The Hustle Daily. We'll see you tomorrow. Hey, everybody. I've been listening to this awesome podcast lately. You know it. You love it. My First Million, hosted by Sam Parr and Sean Puri, is brought to you by the HubSpot Podcast Network, the audio destination for business professionals. My First Million features famous guests like Alex Hormozi, Sophia Amoruso, and Hassan Minhaj, sharing their secrets on how they made their first $1 million and how to apply their learnings to capitalize on today's business trends and opportunities. Talk about somebody that's really in the now. They had on Mr. Beast recently, and Mr. Beast talked about his origin story and how he made his first $1 million and how you can make anything go viral if you really try to do it, which is a great listen. So I would definitely recommend checking it out. You can catch all the recent episodes whenever you want, and you can listen to My First Million wherever you get your podcasts.